Good evening. This is the Cortez City Council work session on today's Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, and the time is 6:48 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order and start with A on our agenda, the April 2026 municipal election update by Drew Sanders, our city manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, thank you. We just wanted to approach you this evening and just give you a heads up on what's happening with the election. I would like to tag team this just a little bit with Danielle, who's the expert behind the operation. But I will just say that Montezuma County has indicated they are not willing to help us, or willing or able, I'm not sure what the right terminology is, to help us with the upcoming election. And so Danielle got wind of that a week or so ago and has been working diligently to find alternative methods for us to do that. I'd like to turn the time over to her to explain what she's been doing, what our options are, and we'll move on from there and take your questions. So Danielle.
Good evening, everybody. I'm working with a couple different vendors to get election equipment so we can tabulate with computers, not by hand. A hand tally would be very cumbersome and difficult for a city of our size. I'm still working with Mancos and Dolores, and we're going to work on trying to work together, but they are much smaller than us. So depending on cost and their needs, that's still up in the air whether they'll work on an election with us or not. I've received a couple quotes from a couple different vendors, but we haven't selected anyone. So that would be a tabulation. Then we still have to order ballots, order envelopes. There's a lot that goes into an election, but we have plenty of time, and it'll get done for sure. But there's just a lot of moving pieces, and we're still trying to work on those. Do you guys have any questions for me about that?
Do we know if they're willing to do elections for Mancos and Dolores? Is it for all the municipalities?
It's for all of us. For all three of us will not be working with the county in April.
So Danielle, does this, I'm sorry, I didn't quite get all of that, but does this mean that we are going to have to print our own ballots and send them out, and then when we receive them back, then we're going to have to tabulate them? Is the equipment available on a rental basis? Is that what I'm hearing? Or
yes,
okay.
Yeah. There's two main options, or three, I guess. One, we could coordinate or work with a company that would run the whole thing for us from front to back. The second option would be to rent the equipment just for this election, and the third option would be to find a company that we would lease long term, or potentially purchase. I'm mostly looking towards the rental option, just because we do only have one election every 2 years. There's a lot to consider when it comes to storage and security. There's no true decisions that have been made at this point. It's still, I'm really trying to get all the pieces and all the different options to find the best source for and the most long-term solution for us. So yes, it would be like order and print the ballots, find a vendor for that, ship them out, receive and count all the ballots ourselves. That's what we're looking at this point.
Thank you.
All right, unfortunate circumstances, but appreciate your hard work in figuring out what our future looks like. Okay, we'll move on our agenda then to B, Homes Fund presentation by Pam Moore, the executive director.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm here to introduce Pam Moore. She is the Executive Director of the Homes Fund. She's a Fort Lewis College graduate, has been here in this area for 38 years, was previously a commercial and mortgage banker for 20 years, and has been with the Homes Fund for 14 years now, and recently, in the past 18 months, taking over as Executive Director from our own housing coordinator, Lisa Bloomquist, when she left, I believe. So without further ado, Pam Moore, and I think the presentation will show on your screens. Thank you.
I'm a really young-looking 70-year-old by that introduction. Thank you for allowing me time to tell you about the Homes Fund. The Homes Fund's been around since 2008. We do services only around housing and home ownership. So we don't do rental, we don't do homelessness, we don't do vouchers. We really are just focused on that one area of housing, which is home ownership. We do that through these 3 things on the screen here. We do homebuyer education. We hold 20 classes a year. It's an 8-hour class. It's an in-depth look at the responsibilities of home ownership. We go over budgeting, credit, insurance, working with the realtor, financing, inspections, and so it's a really deep dive so people really understand if they're ready to take on all the, again, responsibilities of home ownership. Then we do one-on-one financial counseling, and that's where we meet with that individual and we look at their own situation. So where the class is an overview of the home buying process, that one-on-one appointment is about their credit score, their cash position, their debt-to-income ratios, what things do they need to do to be ready for home ownership, and get them ready for that first mortgage loan. And then what we do is that down payment assistance piece. So we've been here for 17 years. This is our footprint is working in the Region 9, 5 counties, but I would say La Plata and Montezuma are our most active areas. Whoops. Okay, there we go. So we've been, again, around for 17 years. 3,300 people have come through the class, and lots of people have come through the counseling. And we've helped almost 500 people with direct financial assistance to purchase a home. So this is a picture.
I don't know why it's, sorry. Is it playing as a slideshow?
It is playing as a slideshow.
Let's see.
So this is a picture. We partner with the Chamber of Commerce to do the classes in Cortez. We do 4 a year here. So far in 2025, we've had 40 households and 52 people come through. We have another class here on October 25th. That'll be our last one of the year.
Can I ask a question while you're
Yes.
figuring this out? Does that class, that for the homebuyer education class, does that qualify people for that 3% payment for first-time homeowners?
Well, it qualifies them for everything we do, which you're going to see in the next slide. We do almost 30%. We are doing 30% down payment assistance loans. So the class is CHAFA approved and HUD approved. So once you take that class, it does open lots of different loan programs up. So we get, I'm happy to say we got a $3.2 million award for Prop 123. That's for down payment assistance in 2025 and 2026. So all of the loans are based on the number of people in the household and the county where the home is located. And these are income charts. I'm sure you're familiar with AMIs. So the Prop 123 award that we got is just for first-time homebuyers. The definition is pretty open of who's a first-time homebuyer. It's you haven't owned a house in the last 3 years. You're a displaced homemaker that only owned a house with a spouse and now that relationship is over and you need to get new housing, or you owned a mobile home in a park where you didn't own the real estate. So if any of those 3 situations are you can still be considered a first-time homebuyer. So under that Prop 123 award, again, we're doing 30% down payment assistance loans up to $105,000. So really generous loan amounts. If you're not a first-time homebuyer, you're still eligible for $47,800. And then we serve families 80% AMI, 100% AMI, and then 120. So of course, the deepest amount of assistance is available for the lowest income folks. This is our flagship product. It's called a shared appreciation mortgage, and the reason it's such a wonderful, affordable housing tool is it doesn't have any monthly payments or no interest rate. So how it works is we put our financing into the transaction, and we get paid when that borrower leaves the property. So here's an example. Let's say someone bought a house for $338,000. They were in that 100% AMI category. We helped them with $47,800 in down payment assistance, approximately a 14% loan. So let's say that house sells 8 years later, it's now worth $388. They've got $50,000 in appreciation. We share 14% in the appreciation, and then they pay back the principal. So in that example, you'll see the payback is $54,800. So it's a really fair model where we share proportionally to what we put in at the beginning of the deal, and then that borrower's not paying $47,800 worth of debt service on their mortgage. So it's a really great tool. Most of our clients take the shared appreciation loan. We do offer amortizing loans if for some reason someone doesn't want to share an equity down the road, and we price that loan at 2.5 under whatever the first mortgage is. So in this same example, someone getting $47,800, in this example, we're going to deploy that money at 4.25, so that family would have a house payment of $235 a month, but they would then have all the equity in the house over time. So again, we let them decide which structure to take, but most people do take the shared appreciation, again, because it has no monthly payments. It's allowing people to actually get into the market. The downsides of the shared appreciation loan is you just don't know how much you'll pay us back. We have had people in the Plata County that used our program in 2009. They have $100,000 of equity in their house. We got to share in that, and what is so great about that is when we get payoffs, it comes right back into the loan fund, and we're going to help another family. So it's this really nice revolving piece. We've revolved $3.2 million since we've started our loan program. The amortizing loan, again, the benefits, no share of appreciation, but you're going to have a higher house payment because you've got a principal and interest payment that you'll make to us. Our notes become due, it is a 30-year note, or when the borrower sells the house, they do a cash-out refinance. We do allow rate term refinances, so as rates come down, if you have a homes fund loan, you still can take advantage of those lower interest rates. And then our only ongoing loan covenant is it does have to be a primary residence. So that's a big job for us every year, auditing our entire book of business and sending out letters. People send back an affidavit and a utility bill. We also check insurance and tax records, property tax records. So again, very, very important that it's a primary residence. These are our Montezuma County and City of Cortez outcomes. Whoops. We've put $3.221 million out in Montezuma County. And you can see here that our split is about 80% in the city and 20% in the county. So we've helped 65 families buy houses within city limits, 22 families out in the county. You'll see over there the amount of houses that we bought, $17 million worth of purchase prices, and our average AMI that we're serving is 67.7%. So again, really hitting those families that really do need assistance in order to get into home ownership. So any questions about that down payment assistance program? We're very busy. In fact, our whole book of business in August was all City of Cortez. So we're busy down here. Some other things that we've gotten into, because this Homes Fund is trying to create housing opportunities through finance. We got an AHIF grant, an Affordable Housing Investment Fund grant, to launch 2 new programs. This is for mobile homes that have been moved. So once a mobile home's been moved, it can't be financed by Fannie, Freddie, FHA, or VA. Those are great homes. We think they're fine housing units, but you can't get a 30-year mortgage on those because they won't be accepted by the secondary market. So these are 3%, 95% financing, 3% interest rate, 30-year loans, and these are for those properties that aren't financeable any other way. So this particular program is for folks in that 80% AMI, and we do have a 15-year deed restriction that gets put on this program when someone uses it. And so they can only resell to someone at 120% AMI, and they can only resell to someone buying as a primary residence. And that deed restriction does drop off after 15 years. So if that family resold in year 7, that deed restriction would only have another 8-year life to it. So again, trying to create when we're putting this much subsidy into a property, making sure that it's going to stay a primary residence for someone. And then another program that we have started in the last year is a down payment assistance for construction loans. We have a lot of calls to our office about how can I buy a lot and put a mobile or modular on it. That's really hard for first-time home buyers to do because banks typically want 20 to 25% down to do something like that. So this is a pilot program that we are currently running with TVK Bank. The bank's going to do 75% financing. We'll come in with 20% up to $70,000, and then that borrower has to come in with 5%. But this is another 3% interest rate. It's a 12-month loan, and it's interest only. And we've started doing, we've done 2 of these so far, and it's for, in the 2 cases that we've done it, it's for individuals who already own their lots, and now they're putting the financing together to put a home on the property. And that's sort of in a nutshell what I wanted to talk to you about today. With the exception, one of the things that the Homes Fund gets to enjoy in La Plata County, we have fiscal support from La Plata County, City of Durango, Town of Bayfield, and Town of Ignacio. We've not had any financial assistance from Cortez or Montezuma County, so I wanted to ask for your support. We did apply for the community support grant, and so you'll see our application when you review those. We've asked for $10,000 to help our operations down here in Montezuma County, and hope that you will consider that grant when you review those applications. Happy to answer any questions about Homes Fund.
If someone was wanting to do that, how would they get a hold of you?
To do,
If somebody wants to get a loan,
so we don't have a preference whether someone takes class or comes in for counseling first, but if you do if the timing works, we tell people to go to class first, because then you've got this great education about all the home buying stuff, and then when we bring you in for counseling, you're familiar with the terms that we use, the things we're going to talk about. So you either, our application is on our website, and you either drop that off with your tax returns and pay stubs and bank statements and all that good stuff that lenders like to look at, or you go to home buyer education class and start there. So one of those 2 places.
do you have an office or is it all online?
No, our office is in Durango,
Okay.
on 9th Street, about on 9th and 2nd Street.
Okay.
But we do come to Cortez an awful lot.
Mayor, can we have her maybe tell us what your website is, since we are being recorded for the community?
Yes, it's homesfund.org. And then there's just a button at the top where someone wants to enroll in class or print off the application, or there's lots of information about our programs, which loan programs we have, and those income limits are on the website. So we're busy down here doing housing all your local workers, giving them a shot at owning a house. And homeownership, really, as far as local workers, if people can't see a way for them to build wealth or to create opportunities for the family, they leave town. And so this is a way for really to create that local workforce and give them some opportunities that they might not have otherwise.
What is the regional restriction? Or like, what's the region that Homes
It's
Fund
the
covers?
Region 9 footprint, so it's
5 counties.
5 counties, yep. But I would say most of our loan deployment is in La Plata. Montezuma is right behind that. And then Archuleta, San Juan, and Dolores are all sort of tied for the 3rd place, I guess. Yep. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me come to your meeting this evening.
Thank you. Yeah, I took the home buyers education class back in 2016. when I was
Yes, that was
buying a house, and it was helpful being here by myself without family to help, and I learned a lot, so.
great. Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on our agenda. General counsel discussion? Sorry, I don't have.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to mention that there is a volunteer fair tomorrow from 4:30 to 7 p.m. at the county annex, similar to the one that's held at the beginning of the year. And just encourage all the citizens of Cortez to go and check out what nonprofits are out there, and hopefully sign up to volunteer to help.
Great. Thank you. Any other announcements or discussion topics amongst council?